Hi, everyone. Welcome to Vulture Festival. We're super excited today to do a exclusive sort of preview-ish thing of Cowboy Bebop, which comes out next Friday, November 19th. I'm Alex Jung. I'm a writer at New York Magazine, and I'm joined here by John Cho, who plays Spike Spiegel. Daniella Pineda as Faye Valentine. And Mustafa Shakir as Jet Black. I know the premiere was a couple of nights ago, just like a few blocks down, I feel like. What was it like for you to sort of have a party, watch it on a big screen? They watched the premiere of the pilot 2 nights ago.
I mean, it's been a really, really long journey. So to finally have it out and celebrate all the hard work, it sort of felt like it was never going to happen. So I think we were all hyped.
Did you get to meet, so Yoko Kano, the music composer, was also there. Did you get to meet her?
Yeah, it was like meeting a unicorn. And she came out of nowhere, and she's like, "Hi, I came here from Japan." And I was like, "What?" I didn't know. I was like starstruck. It was a big deal.
She's only here for 2 days, just for this.
Yes.
She's a baller. I think I was told she didn't decide until a couple days prior, but she's definitely idiosyncratic, and that's. I would argue that she, as much as anyone, it defines what the show is. I mean, in a literal sense, kind of scene to scene, her score tells you what the meaning of the scene is, and all her choices are unusual. Everything seems. Every choice is not the one a music supervisor would select. So she is really the soul of the show, in my opinion.
And she was important for you to agree to do the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I was threatening or anything, but that was like the first question. I said, "Is she in?" And the answer was yes. And I don't know how I would have felt if the answer were no. I think I would have had the Charlie Brown dark cloud over me, over the show, if I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, if we didn't have her, I know fans would be like, "What is this? What are you trying to do?" So thank God.
Before we watch the clips, I was just curious what each of your relationship was to the original anime. Were you fans of it? Did you watch it?
I did. I saw it back in the early 2000s, after the club, hanging out. And I was like, oh, wow, this is an interesting mashup of, different ingredients.
Before Mustafa did this cool look, it was Usher.
It was. Yeah, man. So I fell in love with it right away. And, the rest is history, quite honestly, yeah.
Oh, I knew of its existence, but I hadn't watched it. So I was hardcore Sailor Moon. Shout out Sailor Moon. Anyone love Sailor Moon? Sailor Mars, that was my person. Really, I think the only reason why anyone liked that show was because they got to like transform and change outfits all the time, and that was like very glamorous. But I had not seen Cowboy Bebop and until this opportunity came, and then I just fully immersed myself.
I had not seen the show. I wasn't aware of it at all until it came to me, and I think I told you the first call I made was strangely to Anish Chaganty, who directed a film I did called Searching, just because he's younger and cool. And I said, have you heard of something called Cowboy Bebop? It's come to me, and he said, which character? I was like, let me pull up the email. Spike Spiegel. And he said, you have to fucking do it. Just do it. I obeyed.
Watching it, either for the first time or rewatching it, was it helpful for you to sort of figure out your character, how you would synergize this sort of original character that exists with the one you wanted to make? And what was helpful from the anime for doing that?
I mean, because we had paid so much attention to the original material, because this is truly a love letter to the fans. And so, yeah, I did study it a bit, but you have to separate yourself at a certain point so that you can bring what is uniquely you to it. But yeah, there was so much in the original piece. I mean, the tone of Bill Billingsley's voice was very influential for me, you know, among other things, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to look at the source material. You have to look at the blueprint. You have to study the anime. But I think the thing that we all did was you find a moment with your character, and our show, which is a springboard of the anime, is an opportunity to really expand. So if there's a moment, my favorite moment is anytime Faye eats anything, and it's rushed and she's like a ravenous like raccoon and it's like all over her face. That tells me so much about who she is and how to live in her body.
Yeah, I will also note that I did study the anime and in particular like his physicality, which was sort of my entrance into understanding what I was going to do, because I didn't know how to do it until I did it, if that makes any sense. But I will say that the whole production team was so reverential and so respectful and so focused on getting the world right that I didn't feel a whole lot of pressure to have to carry that, you know, in my performance. That I felt like as long as I just fit into what they're setting up, you know, go with the flow, I think I should be okay, because I felt very secure in the production design elements. And I mean, everyone was talking, you know, from the first fitting and on and on and on, just down the departments. Everyone was just trying to get the bebop feel right. It was never about getting something correct. It was about getting the bebop feel. Mm-hmm. So I just never had a crisis about it, about how to play it, because it's just everything, the room was really set up for me.
Mustafa, what was the casting process like for you when you... did you have to audition? What happened?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I got the email like the rest of the guys, like audition on Thursday. And yeah, at first I sent in a tape, and apparently they liked it. And
was it for Jet Black?
It was for Jet Black.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
You know, and then I got a Skype interview where I used my Nerf gun as a disruptor. It was really corny. It really was. I was like, in hindsight, I was like, dude, you just use a Nerf gun as a prop. You know, whatever, YOLO. And then yeah, like, we came out to LA and there was a room full of spikes and jets and that nerve-wracking kind of situation. And then, you know, I got it. Boom.
Wait, can we talk about the room full of spikes and jets?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's like I thought at least they would like stack us, you know, time-wise, so we wouldn't see each other.
They never do that. They always make you look at the other person and have it be awkward.
At least not that many. It was like 4 of each. I was like, oh my God.
Real mind fuck.
I know, and it was like dudes in there that looked really like Jet Black. I went in, I had cornrows and a fedora. You know what I mean? And it was like a dude who had like a jumpsuit on and the scruffy beard, and he was bald. I was like, oh man, he got it. I was like, focus, man, focus.
But
Stay
none
in
of
your
them
zone.
have blue eyes.
Oh well. All right, moving on.
Danny,
what was it like for you?
Well, I kind of piggybacking off what he said. I mean, you get the audition, and like I said, I'd known the term Cowboy Bebop, but I was not at all immersed in that world. And the thing that told me, oh, this is different, is I went in to put my audition on tape, and the girl who worked at the front desk of this place, actually close to here, she said, what is the audition for? And I was like, Cowboy Bebop. And she's like, what? What's it for? Who are you playing? What is it? It's for Faye Valentine. It's for Faye Valentine. And it was like, she looked like she was gonna leap out of the table, and I was like, holy shit. This is a really intense, and in a very short time, it was really obvious when you spoke to someone who was already familiar with the anime, either they didn't know it, or if they did, it was like zombie energy. It was like intense love, like, you know, so that was a big indicator to me, like, whoa, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you processing all of that?
I think we're
A lot.
yeah.
It's a lot, you know, and also it's a lot of surprises. Like, I mean, because as I say, I didn't know about it, and then it's like, oh, you all, there's so many fans, and they're so intense. Yeah, and also I just got back to America, so it's I'm dealing with that too. Like, oh. I'm sorry, I'm just having a personal moment of disorientation.
He's also having an existential crisis right now, so this is perfect.
Aren't we all?
It's an ongoing thing.
Right. Well, we should watch the first clip, which is John's clip. Do you want to set the scene a little bit? It's the teddy bomber scene.
Oh yeah,
I think everybody should know if they know the anime.
I just thought it's a really great piece of choreography, I thought, with a lot of, and it's a bebop fight scene, with the music and the humor and the wit, and it's also when we might have laughed, you and me, the most during that teddy bomber scene. We had a laugh off.
So tell me about the laugh off.
Let me see if I can set this up properly. So we had a boot camp where we did all these martial arts warm-ups and moves, and so that was a great bonding experience for us. And at the end of that scene, we have to do the lethal weapon, ha, that was close, laugh from deep within us. And but you get to take 12, and it's hard to laugh. And I was like, I need to get the both of us laughing. And I think I said at some point, you know, the lethal weapon old man joke, getting so creaky, I'm having to do these warm-ups, these stretches, and I was like, I gotta do, it's a visual joke, but I gotta do with these martial arts warm-ups before getting into bed with the wife, if you know what I mean. Right. And so I would bust one out, a new one out every take, and it worked like a charm, did it not? Are these?
Right.
Anyway, it got more and more elaborate. And,
You had to be there. It's one of those.
You had to be there.
Yeah.
What was the training like for each of you doing this? Like Mustafa, I know that I was reading that you did capoeira for Luke Cage back in the day. What did you do for this?
Yeah, capoeira, big ups. No, yeah, we all were in boot camp. It was like for, I think it was 6 weeks this time, maybe a little bit more. But from like 8 to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we weapons trained, we tumbled, we flipped, we shot stuff, we threw stuff, we played with knives, sticks. I mean, it was like Al Pop, the stunt coordinator, just tried to prepare us for every war scenario that you can imagine. And then after that, Josh like whooped us for like an hour with some like heavy high intensity training. It was full on. It was full on. They were like scientifically trying to expand our lungs so that we would like fare well if we got COVID. Like, yeah, they had like assault bike training. It was pretty full on. And thank you, because you know it prepared us for those long shoot hours. But yeah, that was the training.
Did you each have a favorite, I don't know, like thing that like martial art or weapon or something like that?
I
that
think
you
around
gravitated
noon
towards?
we had lunch. That was like my favorite time. It was. I don't know if I had a favorite. I mean, the end of the day was great because, like, holy shit, we lived through that. It was so intense. I would say though, if I had to pick one, I like the tumbles. Yeah. I like doing rolls. I think that's really fun.
I agree.
Did doing the training help you sort of, I don't know, get into your character or access that person?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like going through such an intense training regimen, which I had never done before for any film or anything that I've worked on. You have to be so focused and you have to be so in the moment, and you're also realizing like, wow, we're portraying people who are crazy in shape. Like it was really rewarding and really trying. And I don't know, I couldn't believe that I came out of it alive.
I mean, for me, if you're gonna ask like who is Spike on the most basic level, for me every day it was, oh, it's the guy who can do this well, you know. And then you start internalizing that and going, I mean, it really is that simple. Sometimes like I go, oh, I'm the guy who walks around knowing he can do this. That's a different relationship with the world and any human being. You know what I mean? So so it was really helpful.
Did you have to learn how to fight with knives?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I learned this cool one. So there's a blade that I think katana blade that curves like a C, and I think it's called like paint the fence, but this was something else. Paint the taint, where you take the blade when a person's standing wide and you come underneath it from the back and you pull to the front. Fuck yeah.
We're being prepped for real stuff, yo.
So
That's brutal.
We're deadly. I know. I saw that and I was like, that's horrible. That's terrifying.
If
It's excessive. It's excessive.
God, it's like, can we tone it down a little bit?
if each of your characters had to sort of go at it in a fight, who would win?
I feel like Jet has an advantage because he's got metal parts.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it's
I agree.
it's armor. He's literally half Spanish conquistador.
I was reading comments. By the way, all the fan comments, I read all of them. And one of the comments that I saw was, what? Faye can take down Spike? This is bullshit. And just know there's a scene that's in the trailer, I'm not giving anything away, where the two of us have a thing. And what Spike is telling Faye the whole time is like, don't make me kill you. Yeah. So I just want to put that in your head, because I've been seeing that a lot. It was like, I don't think that he's like the Bruce Lee of this universe. Like, Faye's not going to take down Spike. So anyway, just putting this out there. Just to clarify.
You were talking about how, long the shoots could be. What were the most difficult scenes to film? Or, were they physically demanding in that
Night
way?
shoots? Any night shoot ever?
Sorry, what?
Night shoots for me.
Were you gonna? There's in episode 9 to 10. The season climax is at. Am I okay? No, okay. There's a sequence at the. Boss man. But there's
Andre Nemec, everybody. The showrunner.
showrunner.
Running the show.
But that there was some intense fighting, and it also came at a moment with it's an exceptionally, the sequences I'll call it is an exceptionally large in scale, and there's so many people involved, and it was also just an emotionally really dark place. So I look back and I'm just exhausted thinking about that sequence.
I will say that this was the most rewarding and most challenging project that I've ever been part of anything I've done.
John, obviously you had a little boo-boo on your knee. But I'm, and we talked about it before, but I'm also just curious what it was like for all of you to sort of come back to your characters and sort of come back to this production that had already been going on maybe for a while. Was it difficult to sort of get back into the game or get back into the characters? What was it like for all of you?
Fortunately, I think the time off was good in creating like a marination process. We were able to do enough to look back and see where we were going, but not too much where we were like too far and couldn't change some things. So I think like it gave us a chance to really, again, marinate on what we had done and make adjustments. A lot of adjustments. I mean, I know Andre did, were made to scripts and to trajectories of characters as a result of that break, and I think that was good. And coming back, hitting the ground running in boot camp just sort of already it primes the engine so that you're already in that headspace physically, as John was talking about it, and prep for shooting. So it was pretty seamless for me, yeah.
You know, after we went through all of that, because when we went on hiatus, it was like, is John okay? Is the show okay? What's going to happen? And when we came back, it was like we all were in agreement, like this was a blessing in disguise. This was the best thing that could have happened. Like, I am happy that our show is coming out this year and not last year. So there are a lot of really wonderful things that came out of it, in addition to just like, what can we make better? For me personally, I was in such good shape that first time around. And then the pandemic happened, and Noodles happened, and a lot of Bravo TV happened. And so coming out of that, I hadn't lost my Christmas weight. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, getting back into it. All right. But actually, in the end, it's like one of those things where in the moment, you don't know why it's happening, and then when you look back, you're like, oh, that happened exactly the way it should have.
I will say that the benefit for me was having a taste of it. You know, during rehab, I was visualizing a lot, doing these leg exercises and all this stuff. I was visualizing what I would be doing when I came back, and I was able, and because we had shot an episode and a half, I sort of had an idea of what the rhythms would be, who I was working with, and you know, I can't say that I'd do it over again. It was terrible, but I do think it helped. I really was able to get my head around the thing because I'd had a taste of it. And usually, when you shoot something, you're coming into a new environment as an actor, and just everyone else has sort of been working for a while before you. You know, actors come in last, and it is kind of traumatic. You're just being thrown into things, into situations, and that is the job, to master these new situations as you go from place to place. But this was very unusual. It's the first time that kind of opportunity has fallen in my lap, and I did appreciate it in the big picture, to be able to let it, to the opportunity to visualize as I over those months.
Faye has a really biting wit. Is that something that you sort of connect with?
The biting wit is not hard to relate with. It was like putting on a glove. I will say, I mean, look, like the fighting stuff, that was tough to me. But there is aspects of Faye's personality that, I mean, are deeply relatable. She is the disruptor, and it was not hard. You can ask these two to like jump into that role. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing her. I mean, it's like an opportunity of a lifetime.
I was going to say, incidentally, a lot of discussion over whether Spike Spiegel owns a robe. I remember. Does he own a robe? Where would he get a robe? Does he care about robes? He wears the same clothes every day. Does he pack a robe when he travels?
So you ultimately landed on yes? What was the thinking?
I'll have to ask Andre. I think if I remember correctly, I think it's a stolen from a hotel robe.
You know, your wit.
Yes,
Dan.
back to Faye Valentine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, your wit was really on display, I think, after the first look photos came out, and you sort of joked about what Faye would or should or could look like.
Yes. So what people didn't know was I was getting the craziest DMs that you could ever imagine. All kinds of fun stuff. And like, what? You're not 5'10". Like, you're the famous one, if you follow my social media, is like, you're a fridge. And I was like, I've got to address this. So in my cheeky way, I went on social media and I was like, hey guys, like, I'm so sorry. You know, Netflix tried to put me in a time machine to put me back in time to get better looking parents. We tried all options. It didn't work. And the greatest thing about that video, one, it was just super fun to do, but also because Steve Blum got behind me and tweeted out, like, hell yeah, like, I'm all about this. And I was like, there's nothing a troll can say, because I got that guy's blessing, who voices Spike Spiegel. So I got the voice of Spike Spiegel saying, yes, I'm on board. But to be honest, I don't know. I've gotten mostly really, really positive responses, but I also felt like it was very in the spirit of Faye Valentine to address said issue in the way that I did.
Yeah, it was a very Faye response.
That's what I thought. That's what Steve Blum thought as well.
I did want to talk about the look though. What was the conversation like around Faye's like constructing her outfit?
Yeah, we tried. Of course, we tried the original costume.
Oh, really?
We did. We did. We tried everything. And from a functionality standpoint, the biggest concern was, how does Faye operate in this real world? I need something to hide gels and stunt pads and plates and things that are going to protect me. And so mainly the costume was designed with that in mind. You know, I wanted to be safe, I wanted to be comfortable, and I wanted to be able to complete, you know, a lot of the stuff on my own. So that was the first thing. And also, that was mainly it. Yeah.
Functionality and safety seem like good reasons.
Yeah.
Mustafa, did you have to wear a metal arm for your character?
Yes, it's about 50 pounds, and
I think you had the toughest costume of all of us.
yeah, it was pretty involved. No, it's not metal, but the art department did an amazing job, as they did with everything else. But it's plastic, and yeah, it's strapped to the body. It was a real one. So yeah, we had fun together, me and that arm.
Did you name it?
I didn't. No. I cursed at it though. Yeah.
It's called fucking shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was your relationship to sort of Spike's whole costume and outfit?
Yeah, obviously mine was a lot simpler in its creation, but we talked about colors a lot and fabric, as I recall, with Jane, and the costume has a lot of information in it. You know, if you care at some point to look at details like buttons and belt buckles and soles of shoes, there's like Easter eggs all over the costume, and part of, for me, knowing that was like, you know, everything was imbued with meaning, and I knew that. And when I put it on, it was like you looked in the mirror and said, oh, I'm this person. And so much of it is like convincing yourself you are that person before you can convince anyone. And the costume did a lot of work. There's, I mean, it's pretty ingenious. It's like a suit, but it doesn't look like a business suit. He puts it up, so it's like a little bit of pop star to me, and
Little GQ.
little GQ, a lot of little shades of gangster in there. I don't know how they got it just so, but it works.
How do you like the longer hair for yourself?
It's an upkeep issue, but generally I'm good with it. Yeah.
Was there a thing for each of you that helped you kind of like access the character of like, I don't know, like a pre-prep routine of getting into the person, or was there a music, was there a song, was there a costume, was there something like that that helped you lock in?
You know, I can say what happens in the anime, but in the anime there's a song, the audio of Faye watching a video of herself as a child. And anytime I had a sad scene, I would listen to that audio. It's on YouTube, and I would just play it because it genuinely made me very sad. And that was really, really helpful.
Was there anything for you, Mustafa?
I just think being there was enough for me. I mean, the costume was a huge part, because once you put that on, I mean, I've got a faceplate and I've shaved all my hair off. I got a beard, and like, yeah, it was full on. Like, if I didn't feel like jet black after I put that costume on, I got bigger problems, you know? So, yeah, it was pretty involved. But like, you know, there was so much, you know, as we've all said, so much reverence given to, you know, the sets and all the design. Like, every time you got, you know, when it was time to work, it was just all around you. So I felt pretty bebop-y all the time. You know?
For me, it was a lot of costume, a lot of the, you know, I've said before, you know, I've had costumes where someone has to help you, like Mustafa, to get dressed, and that time is important to me to get dressed solo and again look in the mirror and say, oh, there he is. And then what else was I gonna say? There was a lot of information on the set as well. When I felt like I guess I'm revealing, but when I felt like I wasn't Spike, just to knock me into it, I think I would just hit a pose. Really, there's he's so. If you look at his silhouettes and the way he stands and the way he leans and the way he kicks his legs up on things, it's just very him. And if I just did that, I'm like, okay, there he is.
Could you give an example?
Yeah, if I had a coffee table, you know.
Got it. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I feel like Jet Black, when I was watching it, felt very much like a dad in some ways, even if he's the child. You don't see the child. Is that sort of why you chose this clip?
BDE. Big dad energy.
Yes. Dirty minds. What? No, I just chose it because I like it.
Well, could you talk a little bit about Jet and as a character as you sort of were conceiving him?
Yeah, I mean, Jet is the Bebop Spike and Faye Wrangler, you know, Ein and and the like.
Yeah, dad, cool older brother, cool, sometimes annoying, be quiet little sister.
Yeah, the teenager.
Yeah, the teen, adolescent teen.
Does that describe what was the on-set dynamic like between the three of you versus like on your characters?
I think it was really similar. I felt like the casting was right, and I don't know whether we just sort of brought that in and knew what to do, but it felt like what we were off screen was that to me.
Yeah.
Your experience?
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate.
Well, so much of the show relies on the chemistry between the three of you. Was there did you have to do chemistry reads in the very beginning? What was?
I met them in New Zealand.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I mean, a lot of our chemistry was pure luck, but also a lot of it too was we just spent so much time with each other, and we have like history now. So I feel like part of it's luck, and part of it was that we were just in each other's company for so long. We really did become like a family.
Yeah, I think Deb Zane, big up to Deborah
Yes,
Zane.
our casting
She put us
director.
together, or helped, Yeah, some of her geniuses in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, chemistry, is it a thing that you just have, or do you do like trust falls or something?
I think a lot of trust falls.
I do recall, I was recalling the other day that, because when we got to New Zealand and started day one of rehearsal, I just remember exhaling because I hadn't read with anyone, and I didn't know anyone, and didn't go through the audition process. So I hadn't heard us talk together, read the lines together at all. So it was like, is this gonna work? And that was the very first thing. And it popped, and I go, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You're all right. Yeah.
What was it like meeting for the first time for you all?
Did we meet?
When was the first time we met? Well, I met you, John,
Oh,
first.
yeah, we met at the
Los
stunt
Angeles.
facility, yeah.
No, I met you in L.A. And then I met Moo in New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah.
I met you guys in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Don't remember. I guess it was unmemorable for all of us.
Really fascinating stuff.
We were very high the whole
we did the
time.
show, yeah.
Because I see my preparation for any project is get high and eat burgers. It's just a thing I developed. It's foolproof.
Did you observe anything about the others, like what quirks on set that they would do? Is there something you can blow up their spot, maybe?
Daniella usually has a minimum of 3 drinks. She has like a tea, a smoothie. I mean, yeah, she's like drink queen.
This is
Yeah.
100% true. I like to have my protein. It's like a shower, bath, shower. I like to have my protein. I like to have my water. I like to have my coffee. Yes, that is 100% true. I stand by
Fully
this.
hydrated.
Always.
Mustafa, I've never seen anyone be. He is water, and like it's just, he's there.
Nothing
come to
upsets him
set.
ever.
Then he's there. I've sort of never seen anything like it. He doesn't need a moment ever to sort of get there. He's just there. Then he's there. I don't know how he does it. I don't. It's weird. I'm uptight. This guy.
John also always manages to bring the most delicious, delectable Korean food in the most beautiful presentation ever, always. It was always like, well, I was like, what is that? Is that like a statue? You're like, no, it's holding my food. It was like, what? I didn't even know they made anything like that. Yeah, your food's on point.
Was it like a doshirak?
Oh, are you talking about like first with the silver
Yes,
things?
that
Oh, I
crazy
had a
looking thing.
I had a dude
multiple
making me
levels.
food, and it was a triple stack metallic situation. I recommend it highly.
Got it. I know what you're talking
It
about.
beats a
Looks really
pail.
cool, by
It
the
beats a
way.
pail.
So I believe there were corgis involved on set.
Woo!
2 corgis named Charlie and Henry.
Yes, Charlie and Henry. I'm going to preface by saying we have a dog that is only motivated by food and not by affection. And while we were in New Zealand, there's this channel on TV called The Breeze, and they play like music videos and stuff. And there, in between, there was like a corgi competition that was happening down by the wharf while we were in New Zealand. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if our corgi is in that competition. And so we watched, and I swear to God, it's like level 2, level 1, level 3. The first 2 corgis who won best corgi are sitting there like statuesque. And then there's Henry, our corgi, whose butt is facing camera, and he's trying to gnaw at his owner's pocket for treats. And I was like, oh my God, I am watching our dog on TV right now, and his butt's facing camera. That's pretty accurate.
Did you identify with the dog or just Faye?
No, it's not Faye's dog. It's Jet's dog. But I got stuck with all the corgi stuff. Now, by the way, it is adorable. It is an adorable dog. It is so heavy, and it sheds like crazy. It's like 4 huskies in a little dog. It's a lot.
No, you go ahead.
It's very humbling when you're on a set of that scale with a crew of that skill level and magnitude. It's just such a big production, and we're just waiting for this fucking dog to do it. We're just all waiting on this pooch who I don't wanna be insulting, but I'm a lot smarter than that dog. A lot. And we're held hostage.
Both of them, it was their first job. It was the dog's first job, and that was pretty apparent. Oh, come on. It's a dog. So its feelings aren't going to
He
get
has a
hurt.
really big butt. Serious.
Is there a character that you feel sort of spiritually aligned with that it doesn't necessarily have to be yours, just from the universe?
I think I relate to both of those characters. I mean, in real life, I'm probably more Spike Spiegel. Well, no, I'm a mashup of Jet and Spike Spiegel. But yeah, I relate to everybody.
How so?
Well, good follow-up question. Well, whatever happens is the big tagline for Spike, and that's kind of how I live my life. I'm just like, we'll see. And Jet, I'm a dad 3 times over, so, I'm pretty used to the nurturance and the, just wrangling people, so that's how that works.
I think, I don't know. I have to think about it because there's elements of everybody. I always say I wish I was Jet Black in my professional life because he wants to get the job done. He's very focused.
Get the coin.
Yeah, and so I feel like I relate to on that. But I mean, who doesn't want to be Spike Spiegel? He's like the coolest guy in town.
Do you identify with Spike, or do you?
I was going to say, my answer is I'm most fascinated by the Faye character and relate to somehow spiritually to this, like, not knowing where you came from. And I don't know if that's like I'm transposing, like, my immigrant past or something like that, but that's very, it speaks to me very deeply. And And I guess in some ways you're always trying to figure out, like, you know, if you change countries and stuff, you're like, where did I come from? And that sounds overly poetic, like I'm making it up, but I do feel that way.
What are the things you sort of hope people get from watching the show?
I think I just want everyone to know that this show was made by people who care and people who are fans and love the show, love the anime. I can't even stress that enough. The theme internally was "Don't fuck it up." That's all any of us ever said all the time. Like, just we know that. But what I think I want fans to walk away from is we've had a really, really hard 2 years. I just want people to have fun. Yeah. I just want you to forget about your problems, forget about COVID and all that bullshit. Just like binge our show and have fun, because it's a really fun show.
I agree. I think that's, have fun, please. We need to have more fun. It's pretty serious out here these days.
I'll add if pressed.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Bent his arm.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you do a second season?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it in the back first.
Yeah.
100.
Of what show? How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, it's this is a special job. I don't know that maybe job is not the right word, but I'm sort of just getting introduced to what this means for people. Really, I don't know when I'll fully understand it, but it's obviously holds great meaning for people. So yeah, it'd be a privilege.
Did you feel like it was tricky, sort of, you know, like not wanting to replicate the show, but you know, this sort of dynamic of people having expectations of what it will be or what maybe they think it should be? Should people detach themselves from that expectation maybe before watching it, or what's the right way of watching it? You know,
you know, we've been asked that question a lot, and all of us have a different opinion. Like, should you see it separate? Should you see the anime first? Should you see the anime last? And I think really at the end of the day, it's whatever works for you. I do often hear like, what, they're gonna ruin it. Like, no one's touching the anime. The anime is always gonna be there. The anime is always gonna be there. And I think that we did a really lovely love letter to the anime. I think for me, if it were me personally, if I didn't know, I would watch the live action first and watch the anime. John thinks you can go either way with it. Moo, what was yours?
I also feel like do whatever you want to do.
be water. Please.
I guess the process for us was always like you do want to quote things, and be recognizable as the show Cowboy Bebop, and to be recognized as Spike and Faye and Jet. But you want to feel free and creative and have fun and feel like you own it. And so I hope that the show, however you enter it, feels that way. You feel that fun and freedom that we did have. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like we were, you know, replicating something. It felt like, even though we were to some extent, it felt fun, and I hope that is the experience of watching it, and it is for me watching it.
I think we have a little bit of time. If people want to ask questions, there's a mic there in the middle that I think we could just line up, and it'll be super easy.
Don't be scared. Don't be afraid.
So I'm vertically challenged, so I have to adjust the mic. So anyway, first of all, thank you, Vulture, and you guys for coming out to do this and address the fans and have this question Q&A and previewing some of the clips. Also, the props to the production team for putting that excellent first teaser trailer about the original title sequence. That was amazing and how that was done. My question is for John. how was it like for you to film scenes in the swordfish?
Oh, that was a dope day. The first day I got on the swordfish, it felt really badass. Obviously, it doesn't fly. It's
Don't tell them that.
that is one of the few green screen shots that we did. But it's the coolest ship, and it is motorcycle-y, and our design. It feels. Some of the knobs and switches are practical, and you can press things, and it just was a boy's dream. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was awesome.
Hey, how's it going? Pleasure. Hi. Hi. Quick, it's two-part. First, for all of you, were there any fears you had approaching the characters? And second part is that, can y'all sign my hat?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had some fear going into it. You know, if it's something that already exists and that people love, you really want to nail the essence. But I also put my faith in casting, and I put my faith in production. So I think once I got on set, a lot of my fears kind of melted away.
Fear of being too sexy for the role. No. There's definitely you have anxiety about it, and you're worried about. But this is, I would say, it's part and parcel for me, for any project. Is how are we going to do this? Are we going to get it right? Are people going to like it? And so it's just something you live with, and you just look to the work, and you just do the work. And the more you do the work, the more those fears dissipate. But I found that's sort of the beginning of any project and especially one this important to people, is anxiety about getting it right. And that's a good anxiety, The
You wanna
hat.
sign that hat? Okay, we'll do it after.
$25.
Hello.
Hi. If this doesn't spoil anything, what are you guys' thoughts on the Vicious character, and will there be a fleshing of his character on the show?
Well, thankfully, Vicious is played by Alex Hassel, who is a Shakespearean-trained actor, and he is one of the best. Also, shout out to Alex, because he has The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is coming out, Coen Brothers. So this is a top-tier, he's not fucking around level actor. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but he's in good hands.
I don't think this is a super spoiler. Yeah,
Go with
it. I think you're gonna see Vicious's character. It's gonna be very interesting. I think that's one of the areas where we paint more than the original anime did.
So more Vicious.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Love
you.
I had to say hello real quick.
Did you throw out a?
Yes.
I know this. I see you.
What advice would you give to the two fellows, since you already interacted with the fans of the anime? Because I love how you defended your character and whatnot. Thank you.
What advice would I give these two? Yeah. To how to defend the character?
Yeah, because remember you were going bouts with people on social media?
Oh, yeah.
But you know that once it goes out, people are going to say
It's
this,
out.
they're going to say that. But
Yeah.
I could already know I love it. I've seen the anime, but I trust you guys.
Thank you. I wish that there was advice. I think I probably flood them with unwarranted advice all the time. But you know what? I think the thing that sets me apart from the two wonderful gentlemen sitting beside me is I'm a woman, and women got to deal with a whole lot of other crazy, weird, creepy DMs and a bunch of other fun stuff. But I think that more women should be a little more brassy and cheeky and not be afraid to stand up for yourself, even if it's a silly little video.
Hey guys, I just have a quick question. Actually, a two-part question. What was the selection of the corgis? Did you guys had to like play around with the corgis and try to, mingle with them? And also, if the second part
Street greens.
is there any way that you could provide their Instagrams?
Well, we had to find one that was in New Zealand. Well, New Zealand is a province of what do you call that? A province, a territory of England.
England?
England.
Yeah.
So we were in good hands. We lucked out there. There were already corgis that were there, but I don't know because I did not cast the corgi. So you might have to ask Andre Nemec, our showrunner. But I'm not sure.
Is there any chance on Instagram?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
On the Instagram?
You want to get the corgi on an Instagram
You know what?
handle.
When I get home, because I actually communicate with its owner a lot, I will do that.
It's a friend from New York. That's why she wants to know.
Okay, right on.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
I just want to say thank you to the three of you, John, Danny,
Absolutely.
Mustafa, for coming here, and thank you all for coming out today. This is really great.